Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be going over the best Crusader build in Blessed Unleashed. And obviously, do not always listen to just a YouTuber just because he's a YouTuber. Make your own, just gather your own information and make your own opinion. This is my opinion of the potential best build as a in the game right now. And I will be going over kind of like a mixture of A gear and B gear. So first I'm going to start off with the comfort build. See, there is a weapon that you get from a specific dungeon, and it's called the Stormblade. The Stormblade is, I won't say which dungeon that you get it from. It's all in my Discord. So I'm going to show you what exactly this sword is first. The Stormblade gives you extra defense. So this sword gives you an equipment effect of 1580 to 1728 defense. That's probably by far one of the best swords, A swords out there. I mean, the Sword of the Forgotten is the B sword, and it gives you attack of 140 to 313. However, just by being 2 or 3 levels below, this sword already out damages the Sword of the Forgotten. The next piece of armor that you're going to be going for in this comfort build is actually the Unsung Heroes helmet, which is around 4.05 to 8.1 crit rate. So crit rate is really important in this game if you're trying to go for a crit damage build. So the next part of this build is the old Empire body armor. So with that said, let's go to the body armor. The body armor is right here. The old Empire body armor. See, this body armor gives you an increased critical hit damage of 13.5 to 27%. And that's really, really good if your crit hit rate is really high. So, keep note of that. So this is a good chest piece to start off with. We'll go over the Dragon Knights later on in the video. So the next piece of armor that you want to go for a comfort build, and I repeat, a comfort build to just kind of get you through the story and you don't have to worry about doing a lot of different changes, is the Unsung Heroes leg armor. That's actually, you get that piece of leg armor later on in the dungeon, so if you see it on the marketplace, feel free to buy it. It's just like the Executioner Greaves, but this is an A item. This gives you an increased defense of 1580 to 1728 overall. There's specific runes obviously that you gotta look out for, but we'll go over that at the end. So the next piece is boots. The boots that you want to go for are crit hit rate boots. So the Blue Dawn boots. This gives you a crit hit rate of 4.05 to 8.1%. So the reason I'm compiling crit hit rate is something I'm going to discuss at the end. So the next piece of armor is going to be the Gauntlets of the Knight. The Gauntlets of the Knight give you extra defense. See? So as you can see right here, the Gauntlets of the Knight give you an increased defense of 1580 to 1728 extra defense. That's really important as a Crusader, to be tanky and to be able to actually take a hit, because your job and your role is to be kind of like a balanced build. You're not true DPS as for the mage and the ranger or the berserker when he's raged. You're more there to be support. I mean, you do dish out a lot of damage, don't get me wrong, but you want to have survivability. The next piece of armor that you're going to be getting is the Dragon Knight's shoulder armor, which is crafted from an ancient chest. But a lot of the times they're already on the market. People already have the recipes, and they go for a pretty hefty price. See, these the shoulder armor gives you an extra attack power of 439 to 530. So that's already bumping up your attack power by a whole lot. And the next and last piece of body armor is your belt, which is going to be the Blue Dawn belt. And the reason we're going to drop the crit hit rate belt is because this belt gives you critical hit damage of plus 13.5 to 27%. And that's kind of crucial for the build that I'm going for in this comfort build. And I'm going to go over exactly why I'm getting this belt over everything. So now that we've compiled all of the armor pieces, I'll go over it one more time in a quick fashion. The weapon that you're going to be looking for as an end game comfort build is a Stormblade, The headpiece is an Unsung Heroes helmet. The chest piece is going to be the Old Empire body armor. The legs are going to be the Unsung Heroes leg armor. The boots are going to be the Blue Dawn boots. The gauntlets are going to be the gauntlets of the Knight. The shoulders are going to be the Dragon Knight shoulder armor. And the belt's going to be a Blue Dawn belt. And the build I'm going for here with the accessories, you're going to want to look for white runes. So the necklace that's going to be basically complementing this build is going to be the necklace of the corrupted. As you can see right here, it gives you an extra crit rate of 8.1%. So I dropped the belt because you can offset the missing crit hit rate right here with the necklace of the corrupted. It's for an extra +4, and you can actually get 4 extra crit rate, but why have extra crit rate when I'm going to show you that you can offset that at the end with panaceas and elixirs. So that's an extra 8% crit hit rate right here. The next accessory that I'm going to be going for is a Desert Song Ring. So, but before that, I just kind of want you guys to see that right here, this gives you 8 crit rate and gives you a defense of 1226 with the right runes. So the white runes give you the activation of the crit hit rate. So you need 9. And if you have 2 more, you get an extra defense of 1226. Now, the next build that you're going to be going for is the ring, which is the Desert Song Ring, which basically complements the last piece of your build, which gives you critical hit damage of 27%, and you also need 9 white runes to activate the ring. The HP and the lunchbox buff duration are just kind of extra. Otherwise, the HP is just nice, but you're really just going for the critical hit damage. Now that you have this, on a low roll, your crit rate will be around 24.3%. And if you have max rolls, your crit hit rate is going to be 32.4%. Now, your crit hit damage with this build will, on a low roll, will be 54% added onto your 100. So it'll be 154%. Now, on a high roll, it'll be 181%. Now, the reason I want you guys to build for crit damage instead of crit rate is mainly because you can kind of offset this build in a different fashion. So if you go to you can build towards the end 2 different ways. You can pop a Panacea of the Hunter, which gives you 12% crit rate, and then you can also eat for Tiger Shrimp Dumpling, which also gives you 9% crit hit rate. And in the end, that'll give you a 21% extra crit hit rate. So that's 21% extra crit rate. So you can add that on to your Crusader build. So that'll be on a max roll. You can get up to 21. Let's see, 21 plus 32. This is 20, 53, 53.4 crit hit rate. So basically 50-50. You're going to be critting on your crit hit damages. And crit damage basically comes because you're critting. If you have a low crit rate, it's kind of meaningless to have high crit damage. So if you guys want to see what it looks like in the marketplace, let's go to the Panaceas. So the Panacea that you're going to be wanting to go for is the Panacea of the Hunter. The Panacea of the Hunter is down here. You can buy it in the marketplace. It's one of the cheapest Panaceas, which makes no sense to me. It'll probably go up in price once everyone catches wind of this. Usually people go for the Blades. Blades is not bad. It's a really good one, but we'll go over that on different video. So the Panacea of the Hunter right here says critical hit rate of 12%. And the Tiger Shrimp Dumpling, same thing. You go to shared meals. You can buy them on the marketplace if it's up. Otherwise, you can craft it yourself, get the ingredient, and make it yourself. But the Tiger Shrimp Dumpling gives you a crit hit rate of 9%. Now, this is just if you wanted to give yourself and offset the missing crit rate with a potion and a lunchbox. A shared meal. And remember, the Panacea will basically last you for the entire hour, and the shared meal will not. If you go down, you lose it. Now, let's say you're happy with your 32% crit rate. You want to get more crit damage instead of being at a 181%. You can go for the other combination, which is actually to build for crit damage in elixirs instead. So that way you can get the Panacea of Destruction, which gives you a plus 25% crit hit damage. So as you can see right there, buying the Panacea of Destruction gives you a critical hit damage of 25% for 60 minutes. And the food buff that you're going to be eating is going to be beef curry, which gives you 20% extra. So in the end, you're going to be getting 45% extra crit hit damage. So right here it is. Beef curry, critical hit damage. And I'm only showing you the maximized versions. I'm not showing you the elixir 1s, 2s, or 3s. It's just the maximum roll that I can think of. You know, so this is just a food buff and the panacea. So you can actually get more damage with elixirs. So if you really are, you know, you have your panacea, you have your food buff, you can get even more with your elixirs. As you can see, elixirs give you extra buffs. And so I'm ignoring all of these and going straight to the blue ones. And if you go to critical an elixir of destruction, you get an extra 15%. So 45 plus 15%, that'll be 60% extra damage. So if you were at 181 max roll, and I'm saying max roll, so plus 60, that's going to be 241 crit hit damage. That's insane, especially as a Crusader. I mean, this kind of combination you'd want to be doing with a mage or a ranger because you're actually the DPS group. But at 241 crit hit damage, that's insane. Obviously, it's really just 140 crit hit damage because I mean the base is 100, but that's still a lot. The next thing is, you know, obviously, you know, I believe you can get more crit hit rate in one of these elixirs if I'm not mistaken. If not, the panaceas are pretty much really well. Let's see, critical hit rate right here. So instead of 21%, you can get 29% added on. So 29 plus, I'm just averaging what it was last time, was it 32? 61 critical hit rate. So you're guaranteeing your critical hit rate. But that means every dungeon you are going to be using an elixir, a panacea, and a food buff. And that means you cannot go down because elixirs and food buffs go down the second you die. So definitely make sure you don't go down because that is a nice buff to be having. A 61, you know, crit hit rate overall. But yeah, this is just the comfort build for the Crusader. Now, if you're wanting to go for pure DPS, absolute pure DPS, then that's a completely different build. Now, the build that you want to be going for as an attack Crusader, then that means you're going to be completely dropping the defense gear. So you're going to be, well, not entirely. So I figured the gear that you could be rocking is a Stormblade, which is the same weapon, mainly because that's one of the best weapons in terms of the perks that it has to offer. Because as an A weapon, as you can see here, this does a shield rush. You need to be running that blessing, and you don't want to be limited to a specific blessing. The Rapier of Darkness gives you your allies, but that's for other players. I'm talking about for yourself. So the Abyss gives you Burning Blade charge time reduced by 7.1 to 15%. So ultimately, the Stormblade is the best for a solo player, for yourself, and it gives you extra defense. The next is the same as before, which is the Unsung Heroes Helmet, which is a crit hit rate. So the Unsung Heroes Helmet's right here, one more time, critical hit rate of 4.05 to 8.1, and the body armor is the same that I chose, 13.5 to 27%, which is the Old Empire body armor. If you want me to go over it one more time, here it is. The Old Empire body armor, which is right here. You can find this one, I believe, in Harpy's dungeon, or that's a good question. I gotta go back to some of the stuff that I see in my Discord that I have listed. But this is the Old Empire body armor, and the next piece is actually something you get out of victory tokens from PvP. I'm not sure if it's from Red Basin or Warlords, but it's called the Voss Elan Elite Soldier's Boots, which are the legs, attack legs. They are B legs. They are not A legs. They are B legs. They give you an attack buff of 140 to 313 attack power. So the next, that is the only B leg that actually gives you attack power in this game, which is really, really nice because most of these legs give you defense. So, and before, just like you know, the other build, you're gonna rock the Unsung Heroes boots actually, because it gives you an increased attack power of 439 to 530 on a max roll instead of the crit boots. Because you want steady attack power, instead of waiting on a crit. So with that said, the attack power is right there in the Unsung Heroes boots. You're going to be dropping the Blue Dawn boots, and you're going to be picking up the Unsung Heroes boots. And instead of rocking the defense gauntlets, you're going to go back to, you know, your old favorite, which is the Gauntlets of the Protector. Because the Gauntlets of the Protector give you an attack boost of 140 to 313 on a max roll. So again, we're going for a max attack roll. The next build that we're going for is the shoulders, the same thing as last. You're going to be rocking the Dragonite shoulder armor, which gives you an extra 439 attack to 530. The Blue Dawn belt as before, which is 13.5 to 27% extra crit hit damage. Obviously, for my build, I like it. You're going to be rocking the Necklace of the Corrupted and the Desert Song Ring. Necklace of the Corrupted gives you the 8.1 extra crit rate, and the Desert Song Ring gives you 27% extra crit hit damage. Now, unfortunately, on this build, unlike having a 32% crit stock, you know, a crit hit rate of 32% to 24%, you know, stock, this build gives you a crit rate of 12 to 16%. So if you want the maximum amount of damage, you are going to definitely have to offset the lack of crit by using panaceas and elixirs. So, and the food buff to actually give you the crit rate that you need for that critical hit damage. So, because a 12% crit rate and a 16% crit rate is it's a good amount, but it's not substantial to actually be able to consistently hit your crits. And with this build, basically, you get a crit damage of 54 to 81% as before, so that hasn't changed. The only difference is your attack boost from this build gives you a base plus of 1158 attack power to 1504. So that's 1504 extra to your build. So that's if you're going for a pure DPS attack build on your Crusader. I know this is kind of funny because I'm on a mage while I'm saying this. But yeah, that is basically the best, in my opinion, I reiterate, in my opinion, the best attack build for a Crusader, offsetted, you know, with, I mean, supported by, you know, panaceas, elixirs, and food buffs to hit the most damage as a Crusader. So with that said, you know, there's another build that I can go over, which is a defense build. But to be honest, I don't really believe in a pure defense build as a Crusader and to make you as tanky, because you're not going to be as helpful to the team if you're rocking pure defense and you're not meeting DPS checks because your attack is way too low. Because you don't want to be hitting a margin of 4,000 attack. You should be hitting a margin of 5,000 to 6,000 attack power as a Crusader. But with that said, I hope you enjoyed the video, and hopefully this helped you understand the Crusader class a little bit better and what to build for as an endgame Crusader, because there's a lot of different gear out that kind of doesn't make any sense, and it's kind of confusing, and people will question whether this is necessary, and these are different builds. But if you're going for a comfort build, go to the video that before in the beginning where I talked about it. And if you're going for an attack build, you're going to be spending a lot of time in PvP to get those legs. Otherwise, the end game legs are basically in the higher level dungeons, which is the boots that you want, and the shoulders that are on the marketplace and only sold by recipes. But thank you guys for watching. I definitely do want to get PvP started. I want to help people actually get this gear. Maybe I might start doing a daily red basin at 7 o'clock to 8 o'clock Pacific time. But, you know, I'll need people to join my Discord so I can get this booming. That way we don't have to wait. Because right now in my guild we have about 40 members, but 16 active. 16 active. So I can get 16 people to queue up for red basin. But I'm going to need help from you guys to actually get this going. Because there's a lot of sweet gear in there that you're going to be missing out on. And a lot of things that people don't have. That you don't actually see. But this is actually in a different marketplace. In the marketplace in Sperios. Sperios, if you don't know, is over here. And if you want to see where all of the gear is from the red basin, you want to go to north of Sperios, zoom in, and you're going to see these factions. Vos Elon faction, and you're going to see the Senator faction, and they all have gear that you can get. I might have missed some gear in this area, but I'll have to go over it, and I can revise my video if I made any mistakes. But correct me if I'm wrong. I'm always open for discussion. But if you ever want to catch me, my Twitter is theguitarist562, Instagram is theguitarist562, my YouTube is theguitarist562, obviously that's why you're here, and I go live on Mixer at theguitarist562. I do stream on Twitch just to export my videos. So if you do catch me on Twitch, I will not be responding typically because I am focused on making content to export to YouTube. But again, don't give up on the Crusader because the Crusader, in my opinion, is one of the best classes in the game. It's one of the only classes that can actually block and have the best survivability in the game outside of the other classes. You are tanky and you can attack with consistent damage. So, you know, this message is from the sexiest Crusader on Blez. So,